How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the channel and welcome to another Gotham Knights video. Now, Gotham Knights has officially released depending on your time zone, and I've been playing it for quite some time now, but there's a lot of things in this game that it doesn't straight up tell you. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys a lot of tips that I recommend you do at the start of your game and you don't wait and make the mistake like I did. So starting off this list, this one sounds pretty basic and it may sound pretty self-explanatory, but it's to do the tutorial missions. Now, when you go to the Belfry, there is a training area over to the left, and it's pretty easy to miss, and a lot of people, including myself, just don't want to do the tutorial missions. I've played a lot of video games, I just like to figure things out on my own, but in this game they basically force you to do the tutorial missions, because if you want to unlock some of the different outfits and some of the different cool gadgets and stuff, you are going to have to do some of the tutorial missions anyway to unlock some of the steps later on in the challenges. So I suggest as soon as you get access to the Belfry, I would immediately go over to the tutorial area and just get them done and over with as soon as possible. I was playing the game for about 3 to 4 hours before I went and did the tutorial, and the tutorials actually taught me things that I didn't figure out on my own. So I highly recommend you just go ahead and get those done and over with. It's a great way to get XP for those early levels, and like I said, you're going to eventually have to do the tutorial missions anyway, so I just recommend you go ahead and get those done and over with. So the next tip I have for you guys has to do with the bonus objectives during missions. Now, every primary mission, secondary mission, and just free roam mission, there's always an objective. It's either disarm the bombs or defeat the enemies or clear the area in a certain amount of time. Whatever the primary objective is, there's always going to be secondary objectives as well. A lot of them are pretty easy to do. They're normally just be stealthy or use the environment to get kills or kill people with a certain ability. They're really easy to do, and they are a great way to get XP and additional crafting resources for when you want to craft different outfits and different gadgets. I got a lot of them just by playing the way that I normally would. Just be sure to keep an eye out for those. So the next tip is something that I wish somebody would have told me early on, and it's to go to Lucius Fox as soon as possible. Now, after a couple of the primary missions, when you're in free roam, you're going to see the option to go to Lucius Fox somewhere on your map. He's just sort of like a side objective, and it's something that you can very easily overlook, but I recommend you go and talk to him as soon as possible, because this is how you unlock fast travel. I played about 6 or 7 hours, and I was just driving all around the map, and it was taking forever, and then I stumbled across this guy, and he had me do a couple of missions for him, and he basically tells you that if you help him out, and you scan these little drones throughout the city, he will unlock fast travel points for you, and it makes life way easier. So trust me, as soon as he shows up on your map, go talk to him as soon as possible. It will save you a bunch of time. So the next tip I have is another tip I wish I knew very early on in my gameplay, and it's to do the knighthood challenges for each of the characters, or whatever your primary character is going to be. I went hours just playing the game, traveling around the map with the bat cycle and your grapple hook, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to do the special abilities to get around the environment. Batgirl has her cape, Red Hood has this like teleport ability, Robin has a satellite teleport ability, and then Nightwing has his glider, and I couldn't figure out how to unlock those abilities. Well, to unlock those abilities, you have to do the knighthood challenges for each of the characters. And once you complete all of the knighthood challenges, that is when you can finally unlock those abilities. So the knighthood challenges normally consist of just a couple different things you have to do. You normally have to defeat a couple mini bosses. You have to do 10 open world side missions by interrogating enemies that you find just in the open environment. So you attack them, you interrogate them, and then they will unlock one of these missions for you. You go and do 10 of those, and then you have to do some of the tutorial missions that I talked about earlier. So if you want to travel around the map faster, you have to do those tutorial missions, and you have to do a bunch of side missions, and I recommend you do it as soon as possible because it makes life way easier. It's way better to travel this way instead of just using the bat cycle and your grapple hook. Trust me, you'll thank me later. It's way better to grind this out at the beginning versus waiting like 8 or 9 hours into your playthrough like I did. Now, the next tip I have for everyone is in the options. It's in the UI settings. Now, there's a couple cool things you can change in the UI settings to make life just way easier on yourself. For example, you can turn off the auto dismiss loading screens. The loading screens in this game, they'll load for a little bit, and then you have to confirm that you're ready to go into the next area. So for me, since I play on Xbox, you have to press the A button. So I would often just be sitting there waiting for the loading screen to go through. I'd be playing on my phone or whatever, and I would forget that I have to press the A button to confirm that I want it to be done loading. So if you want to get rid of that and you just want to load into areas a lot faster, I highly recommend you turn that on. And then under the accessibility tab, clear down at the bottom, there's the interaction trigger. Now there's a lot of different things in this game, like chests and buttons and bombs you have to deactivate, and a ton of different things where you have to hold in the action button. And it can normally take a couple seconds, and it's really annoying if you're in the middle of a fight and you have to do something really fast, and you have to deactivate something while enemies are attacking you, or you're opening chests for like the 100th time. Instead of holding in the action button, it's way easier to change this to tap, and then all you have to do is tap the button once, and then you immediately complete the action. And then you could do the same thing for the AR scan activation. Anytime you want to ping in the environment, you can just switch that to tapping instead of holding it in. It's something small, but it is a really good quality of life change, and I really like switching it to tap because it's just way easier than holding it in, especially if you're in combat and you're trying to scan. Instead of it taking a couple seconds for you to activate it by holding it in, you can just tap it and make it way faster. So up next is a tip for when you're in combat. Say you're in a situation where you try to be stealthy and you kind of screw things up and you get caught and you need to make a quick escape, or maybe an enemy's aggroed onto you and you're just not in the mood to fight and you just want to make a quick escape or whatever. Normally you would hit left bumper or L1 to use your grapple hook to make an escape, but if you hold in the grapple hook button, it will drop a smoke bomb at your feet. Dropping a smoke bomb is a great way to make a quick escape, or if you want to re-enter stealth. Like I said, maybe someone sees you and you were trying to be stealthy and you have a stealth objective, you can just drop a smoke bomb, escape, the enemies will lose sight of you, and then you can go on and get those stealth takedowns. And then the next tip is when you're in free roam, you have a limited number of health packs you can use. So if you're going around and you're doing a lot of side objectives and you're doing a lot of exploring and you're taking a lot of damage, you only have a certain amount of health packs that you can get. Now to refresh the health packs, you go back to the belfry and then you can just go back out into the environment and that refreshes all your health packs. So if you're getting really low on health and health packs, just go back to the belfry, because if you die, you're going to lose some of your crafting materials and you don't want to do that, because you're going to be constantly crafting different outfits and different gadgets and weapons. And if you're dying all the time, you're going to have to go out and farm a lot of those resources again. So if you're getting too low on health packs, it's better to be safe than sorry. Just go back to the belfry and then go back out into the environment. And then the final tip I have for you guys in this video is to constantly be switching between the characters. Now you can stick with one character if you want. You can beat the entire game by just using one character, but XP is shared between the characters. So if you go out and you get a lot of level ups with Robin, all your other characters are going to be leveled up as well. And if you collect a lot of high level gear as Robin, all your other characters will also get high level gear. So you don't have to worry about leveling up each individual character. Each one of them has their own play styles and their own unique abilities. Some of them are better at hacking, some of them are better at stealth, some of them are better at certain situations than others, so I recommend you switch between them. And another reason that it's worth switching between the characters, in my opinion, is because all the cutscenes are going to be different with each character, and all the voice lines are going to be different between the characters as well. So a cutscene with Robin is going to play out differently than the same exact cutscene if you picked Batgirl or Red Hood. So there's a lot of replayability, and if you check back at the belfry with different characters, each of the characters are going to have their own unique interactions all around the belfry. Here's an example where I had to switch to Robin to get a unique cutscene. So it does pay off to switch to the different characters, because if you want to see unique interactions and different hidden cutscenes, you do have to switch between all of them. And if you just stick with one character, you're going to miss out on a lot of that stuff. So those are some tips and tricks I wish I knew when I started playing Gotham Knights. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. If this video helped you out, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out in the algorithm and it's greatly appreciated. And that is going to do it for me, everyone. And I will talk to you all in the next video.